IKEA might have created a fabulous aquarium product by accident. This is and IKEA created it for growing herbs indoors. But you can also use it to grow aquarium plants in a beautiful and effortless way. At least that's what I immediately thought of when I saw it in the store. Let's see how this will turn out. If you buy this product, which costs 50 euros by the way, you will get a lot of things. A white plastic sump, a fitting lid with holes, 11 pots for the holes, different types of lids for the pots, a light, a stainless steel mount for the light, and a ton of other parts. Assembly was pretty easy with the instructions, and this is how it should look when you are done. There were quite some spare parts left, including 3 extra pieces for cable management. I guess every aquarium hobbyist can make good use of those. Let's go over the features, starting with the lid, which incorporates a practical funnel for pouring in water without disassembling the whole setup. Next to it, there is this plastic rod, which indicates the water level inside the tub below. A great feature in my opinion, because again you don't have to disassemble everything, and if there would be a way to easily look inside the tub, light would get in, probably resulting in algae growth and maintenance effort. You also have some options considering the holes. You can of course leave them open, but the set also includes 11 mini lids which allow you to close each hole separately, blocking out light and preventing evaporation. It also includes 11 of those parts, which I honestly don't have a clue what they are for, and also 11 transparent lids with ventilation holes. These are going to be really important for what we are going to do with this product later on. In general, all of this is my own interpretation of the product. If you have more ideas of what this could all be used for, let me know in the comments. On the back, you can see the cable management and the opportunity to change the height of the light. There's also this little thing, which I don't know why they included it, and this one is going to give us some trouble soon. Oh, and of course, we also have the light. And what is even more exciting, the light actually includes a built-in timer, so you don't have to buy an extra one for the setup. It's really simple. When you turn on the light, it will stay on for 16 hours, and then switch off for the remaining 8 hours of the day, before repeating the cycle day after day. So just get up once early in the morning and turn it on manually for the first time, and it's settled forever. Before actually planting the pots, we have one problem to address: the holes in the pots. I want to use a mix of soil and aqualit for the substrate, but the soil just falls through the pot. But that's an easy fix. I just used some window screen mesh to keep everything inside. It works perfectly fine, but it takes a long time. And I remembered that I could also use leaker, which are porous clay balls. This way also is much faster. I filled up the tub way above the max, because we need our plants to be partially submerged in water. Now I will tell you why I think that this product is so great. It's because keeping aquarium plants immersed is such an underrated hack. Allow me to explain. Most aquarium plants actually spend almost all of their life in nature above the water, but are able to transition into an underwater form if they end up underwater. The more difficult aquarium plants, though, can be very picky about which conditions they need for transitioning and staying alive submerged long term. Usually they need pretty high CO2 levels because it's more like their natural environment, immersed in contact with air, which contains a lot more CO2 than water. Now we can make use of that by just keeping a part of our more difficult plants immersed. Because with enough nutrients and humidity, all of them are pretty easy to keep alive. Like that, you have a constant source of the plant in case it doesn't make it submersed in your aquarium. One example for this is my Hygrophila chai, which slowly died in my aquariums. But luckily, I planted some of it immersed in this little plastic container. It's doing great, and I hope that I can achieve something like this for all my other struggling plants as well. Because I actually have quite some troublemakers at the moment. What you see here is all that I have left from my Bacopa Salzmani purple. Like the chai, it slowly demised over the past 2 months, and I don't know why. The Rotala ramosi or sunset is also doing poorly and also gets overgrown from all sides because it doesn't grow at all. While the difficult Rotala macrandra variegated is doing well at the moment, the Pogostemon erectus is also slowly dying after almost half a year in the setup. I don't know why it never really took off. But if I am able to save those plants by growing them immersed as well, I can try them out in the future again without buying them a second time. Same goes for some other plants that I want to swap out soon. I started with a few parts of Hydrocotyle tripartita mini. I placed it between the leaker, so it's in contact with water while still having some parts above the waterline as well. Because this one comes straight from my aquarium, it will quickly dry out. So I placed a transparent lid with small ventilation holes above the pot, to create a humid environment for the plant to adapt. I continued to plant a lot of other species using a few stems each. But after just 2 more pots, I noticed something bad. The tub was leaking. More specifically, The weird rubber thing I don't know the purpose of was leaking. This is very annoying, although I can't really blame IKEA since I put in 3 liters of water instead the 1.5 liters the setup was developed for. I guess that's why they also put the max level mark on the rod. I acted quick and temporarily fixed it with some kind of tape. I will address this problem later in the video, but for now this should be enough. I continued planting like before. I placed the little transparent lids on all the plants that came from my tanks, except this one, which is already an emersed stem. I'm just curious if this one will do well in here without the lid. The last 2 pots will of course be for my favorite plant, the infamous chai, which grows so well in here and even has flowered twice. I don't want to risk it all and place all the plants in a new setup, since I don't know how they will do in here. I trimmed off 2 pieces of new growth for a first try. But I also wanted to see if they had grown any roots in here, because that had been the problem with the submersed chais. I decided to carefully remove the small plant in the front. And it had grown roots, very few and small, but still great news. I planted them in the 2 pots that are left, also to get a comparison of the 2 different substrate choices. Because I didn't want to take any chances, I closed both pots with the lid as well. The original container went back into the tank. Let's wait a few days to see how everything develops. Now, after about 10 days, I can already feel the success. Most of the plants have already started to develop emersed growth, and except the Pogostemon helferi, not a single plant part died off. Some of the old leaves dried out of course, but the new growth looks healthy and promising. About the leak. The tape held the water in perfectly until I moved the setup for some final shots, but I was able to stop the leaking with some super glue and a smaller piece of tape. This should do the job for sure. Blocking the hole from the inside probably would be even better, but I really don't want to empty everything and take out all the pots. But since you watched this video, you know about this problem from the start and you can address it before filling it up for the first time. I'll see you in the next one.